Dr. Okupe, let's look at unemployment in terms of the figures that you're reading out and reactions on Facebook and Twitter and all the social networks. If 20 million people are unemployed and the government plans, of course it's possibly impossible for government to employ all 20 million people. But if you're looking at ways to create jobs, say, for 5 million people in the next 1 year, we will still have about 15 million people who are still unemployed. And there will still be a problem. And they will still complain. And they have a right to complain.
Yes, and, things will continue to get better. Look, if your house is flooded, and your things are really, messed up by flood, you are still limited by the capacity of the pail and whatever method you are using to remove the water, But as long as the job continues, as long as the action continues, the water will come down. The same thing, if we take out 5 million this year, next year we take out 7 million. In 3-4 years, look, I have not finished, on that issue of employment. I'm telling you that, the federal government has actually completed 3 feasibility studies of, on rail corridors. 3 new ones have just been commissioned in the last 1 month. So by the time these feasibility studies are completed, and the rail corridors are concessioned, there are investors all over the world. Minister of Transport told me that they are every day under major pressure by investors who want to come and develop rail. We have 6 major rail corridors.
Talking more seriously, does that ministry exist, the Ministry of Transport?
Of course, it does exist.
Okay, we'll talk more about that.
No. You cannot say that. Only 1 week ago.
Good.
The railroad from Lagos to Kano that has totally broken down and was not working for 10 years has just been, commissioned for the first time. So I can say that Ministry of Transport does not work. Ministry of Transport is there and is working. And not only that, the Ministry of Transport has completed the Ajaokuta Delta rail line, 187 kilometers. They have done about 35% of the 187 kilometers new gauge from Abuja to Kaduna.
Is it all about rail transportation?
No. I'm just telling you. But this is something.
No. I'm asking the ministry. Is that the only purview of the ministry? Is that the only task given the ministry for this year, 2012?
No. But you see, look, sometimes you got to focus on certain things to make maximum impact. Rail development is a major economic tool to national growth and development.
It brings to mind.
It is what brought America to the fore as a great nation. The movement of goods and services, along the rails all over the world increases economic activities and it has backward linkages. It opens up communities.
I'm staying on that. I'm staying on the transportation issue. I'm not leaving that now that we're there. It brings to mind the issue of the dredging of the river Niger, which we heard then that the late President Yar'Adua approved. And the second perhaps maybe you tell us, did the government of President Jonathan cancel that dredging?
It was never cancelled.
Because that's what's making the rounds, that it's been cancelled.
No, it was never cancelled. It was never cancelled.
So when will work start on that bridge? Because again, it will enhance water transportation. This is why I have a problem. This issue had been in the media for a while. All right? And the president did actually issue a statement that project was not cancelled. Before you become the president of a nation, and the office of the presidency, all right, we must give it some measure of respect and dignity. If the president comes and says, I did not do this, until there are overwhelming evidence to the contrary, we should be cautious, before we start to raise issues with that matter. That project has not been cancelled, and it is not cancelled. When do you think work can start on that project? Because you remember 2012, the nation suffered severe flooding problems all across the regions, and some actually said if we had done that pretty fast, if we had done that, at least some of those regions like in Delta and Anambra and some other places, that we would have seen some minimal devastation caused, or not at all.
The major problem of that flood was because were two strong thing, mainly the overflowing that came from River Niger, all right, and also the opening of the dam in Cameroon. Nigeria was supposed to have completed its own dam, but it's now just being approached. It's just now being completed. I mean, being done, and I think by next year it will be completed. But we were not prepared for it. When they opened their dam, you know, a lot of water came in, and that's why Taraba and all those places were flooded. And at the confluence in Lokoja, there was a major disaster. All right, so you know, these are issues that government is handling, and
in addition to what he raised about the second Niger bridge, because I remember we talked about it here on the program. I'm not sure if it was the same day we called you on the phone, where the Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives, Emeka Ihedioha, says 250 billion naira was approved for that same project in 2008, and it was diverted by the Ministry of Works. They were having a public hearing about that, and he said ever since then, monies are being allocated on a regular basis for the same second Niger bridge. And maybe you remember that Anambra State Governor also said that how could the contract have been awarded when no feasibility study, nothing was done about that. What's happening?
You see, government is sometimes is a complexity. Let me explain something to you. You take a budget to the National Assembly. I am from the East, you know, and we feel that this is a project that our people will benefit from. All right, and we insist that this thing should be on the budget, and money is actually allocated to it. But just like you've said, money is allocated to it, but the feasibility study has not been done. The engineering drawings are not available. So, do you understand? You know, so it's just a waste of time, and you know, because the money has already been allocated, so it is in the purse of the Ministry of Works. Instead of allowing that money to lapse that year, when you really cannot do much, you use the money to do what needs to be done. Like you now commission the feasibility study. I'm not trying to lay blames here, and I'm also trying to be very careful. I don't want you to put your hand in my mouth and cause problem here.
I'm trying not to.
So you know, I'm just telling you that government is complex, you know, and you know, politics also comes into play.
So the Deputy Speaker was right.
There's no argument about it. I called the Minister of Works after that program, and I knew the explanations they gave me. Do you understand? And that's what I'm trying to explain to you.
But Nigerians think it's a fraud.
No, that's an error.
No, but if it says 250 billion.
Let me explain to you now. Let me explain to you. You see, this year, last year, for instance, you know, how much was budgeted to Ministry of Works? 90 billion. 90 billion. The Benin Ore Road itself is 69 billion. So, Ministry of Works has continuously projects that that requires funding that the nation's purse cannot afford to find out. Let me finish. You ask this question, I've got to finish it.
When are they going to start building the bridge?
I believe that the preliminary work has been done, and I do not have the facts with me immediately, but I know that as a matter of fact, preliminary works on this second bridge, on this second Niger bridge, has been done, and I believe that very shortly this will be done. Let's talk about security before you go, because we're really running out of time here. Because you see, you have wasted my time. I beg your pardon. I came here to talk to Nigerians, to tell them that there is so much that is coming in the package for the new year, and to give hope.